And it takes a long time before it gets to the violent, the physical end of it. It starts out emotional, isolation. They take money away from them, vehicle transportation away from them, contact with everyone. Every 22.8 seconds, a violent crime is committed in this United States.
So it was very scary as a child, you know, not knowing if we were going to be safe or not. But when we went to the safe house, we knew we were going to be safe, at least for those couple days. And we stayed until we could find alternative arrangements.
It got started in 1990 by a previous executive director. They found that there was a need for women and children to have someplace to go for domestic violence and sexual assault. So they formed a board and got incorporated and found the house. And the Methodist Church donates the rent of the house, so we don't pay any rent, so that's how they got it all started.
Clients who arrive at the Safe House door each week range in age from 18 to 60. They come from all socioeconomic classes, but they're all there for the same reason.
It's a safe haven for battered women and children, someplace that they can go to get out of the violent situation that they're in and live. They have rooms there and supplies and food and everything necessary to sustain life and to move on. The Safe House helps women get on their feet so they can better parent their children and have a better violent-free life.
Isolation is such a big important part of domestic violence victims. Sometimes we get victims that are brought here by the turnaround workers or whatever. They have no one, and if it weren't for the Safe House.
We had 52 women and 26 children stay in the Safe House in 2007. My court advocate, she helped 101 victims with protection orders in 2007. So that's a lot bigger number than what I think people realize.
Children are often the unseen victims of domestic abuse situations. They are the ones who can benefit the most from the services that the Safe House offers. This includes their current physical needs and for the future in breaking the cycle of abuse.
It's been my goal. I mean, I remember how many people helped me as a young child dealing with my violent father. I was scared of him, very scared of him, and the situation had inevitably ended up to where I lost a parent because of that. I almost lost both my parents in one night because of violence, and I knew how that affected my life as a child, and I don't want any other kids to go through that, and that's why it's very important for me to be involved at the Safe House and to be able to be there to help women and their children get out of situations like that.
But to see a toddler or a small child come into the Safe House, their demeanor is so, sometimes they hit, they cry, they're clingy, they're just not happy little beings. If we can keep them there at least 21 days and they're surrounded by all this love, there's no violence, it's all routine, good food, the difference in those children in 21 days is like night and day. They get happy, they get verbal. The expression on their face is so much different. Those are the kind of things that we can't share with the public, or the public doesn't see.
I've been very lucky, though. I think it's because of people and places like the Safe House that cycle has stopped with my family. We don't get to everybody, though, so we don't have that capability. We could have, if we get the opportunity to stay open, we could help many, many, many families.
I don't feel that these women should have to be stuck in their situations that they're in just because we can't fund them to come here, because there's definitely a need for this house.
When my family needed it 17 years ago, luckily it's kept going, but with finances and whatnot being what they are now, it gets harder and harder every year to keep the place going, and it would be devastating if the Safe House had to close because not enough people knew what kind of need we have. We need food donations. We need monetary donations to help pay bills. Life is expensive, as everyone knows, and we've got to have the capabilities to keep the doors open so the children and the women can be safe.
Got to educate people and have people not close their eyes and ears to domestic violence. It is a community program. I'm a grandma. I don't want my granddaughter or my grandson going to school with kids who are in a domestic violence situation. They act out at school, they hit at school. It does affect the whole community. It's not just those people's problem, it's all of our problems, and we have to get involved. And education is the best way.
If Butler County didn't have the Safe House anymore, that there would be a lot of women that wouldn't have any place to go.